Today on the Morning Edition, Winona Fletcher was convicted for her role in 3 murders that took place in 1985 at only 14 years old, becoming the youngest Alaskan female ever convicted. Now her case is reopened. What to expect as she appears in court today. Plus, 20 years ago, a little boy had a wish for one last trick-or-treat, which has become a lasting tradition. We hear from the boy's father and from some of those enjoying the festivities. And later, one googly-eyed goat has taken the internet by storm and surprise. One special goat from a zoo in Wisconsin has a viral sensation on their hands. And frankly, it is adorable. As the Morning Edition starts now. Good Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. That is too cute. Did you see the goat?
I saw just the brief snip of it. Looking forward to hearing more about that story. But as you know, in the Morning Edition, we always got to bring you the adorable animals from across the world.
We do. We love our animals here on the Morning Edition.
And we are waking up this morning to some rain that's still falling across the state. We've got some ongoing stormy weather as you head out towards the Aleutians. And while we can't expect to rule out some showers across South Central, most of that activity we're dealing with this morning is through the Sept Valley as well as out towards coastal areas. 53 is where we're sitting at this morning. Still fairly mild across a good portion of the state. You can see 40s and 50s as we wake up. We've got areas of western parts of South Central as you head through the Sept Valley and then out towards the Kenai, holding on to that rainfall chance this morning. And then as you head out towards eastern parts of Prince William Sound, this is also where we could see localized areas of some patchy fog this morning as you head out towards Valdez as well as Cordova. So we do have that chance for some showers lingering with us this morning, even as you head out towards parts of South Anchorage and even as you head towards East Anchorage this morning, likely holding on to some light rain showers. Into the interior, we're all holding on to some spotty to isolated showers. You can see primarily surrounding the Fairbanks Metro as you head northwest of the city, continuing to favor some of those wet conditions to start off the morning. Bus stop forecast for across the state. Many areas expected to see those temperatures upper 40s and lower 50s as we start off your Monday morning. We are expected to see some cooler weather that's going to build in, particularly for southeast, as we are tracking the return to some fallish weather for the Panhandle. This coming off of what has been a stretch of some nice, sunny, warm weather. Rainy weather still building in across the state with some possible snow looking likely for areas along the slope. Meanwhile, we continue to hold on to some of those stormy and windy conditions for the Aleutians. I'll have more on that as well as that 7-day forecast and what to expect through this week coming up.
In today's top story, a woman convicted for her role in 3 murders in 1985 is set to appear in court again this morning. Winona Fletcher was just 14 years old at the time and is the youngest Alaskan female ever convicted of murder. Fletcher was convicted of helping her 18-year-old boyfriend carry out the triple homicide of 69-year-old Tom Facio, his 70-year-old wife Anne, and Anne's 75-year-old sister Amelia Elliott. An appeals court has since ruled that judges must weigh a minor's brain development when considering sentencing, a ruling that now reopens her case. In court Friday, Fletcher said she has lived with responsibility for the murders every single day.
Words can only do so much, and they're easy to say. I wanted to do more than show how sorry I am and put my guilt and sorrow into action to be the best person I could be. I looked for any way I could find to help others, to always push myself to be more. My crime pushed me to be better every day. It will be my purpose for the rest of my life, no matter where I am, who I'm around.
Fletcher, now 55, was initially sentenced to 297 years before being resentenced to 135 years in prison. She's been incarcerated for the past 40 years. Fletcher's hearing today is scheduled to begin at 11 a.m. A village police officer in Brevig, Mission is now facing felony charges, accused of using his badge to intimidate and abuse an ex-girlfriend. Troopers report that 25-year-old Moses Milligrock was investigated after a domestic violence complaint was received on September September 4th. They say the investigation showed he used his position as a VPO to harass and intimidate the victim while on duty, and that the behavior was part of an ongoing pattern of abuse over the past 3 months. He faces charges including felony assault, criminal mischief, stalking, and violation of constitutional rights. A preliminary hearing is set for September 15th. In Nome, and authorities did not release details on whether or not he's been removed from his post as a VPO. Public comment is now open on removing the roadless rule, a move President Trump announced he supports. The rule bans new roads and timber harvesting on nearly 60 million acres of undeveloped land. Alaska's delegation praises the proposal, while environmental groups warn it could damage the Tongass National Forest and beyond.
Well, this isn't in a vacuum, and that's part of the problem. Is there's also attempts to undermine the NEPA, the National Environmental Policy Act process. They're working towards making any kind of development on a forest faster and easier. They're pushing to lower the bar for when you have categorical exclusions, which basically say you don't need to do an environmental assessment. You're just allowed to do whatever you'd like.
Senator Sullivan issued a statement of support, saying the rule has hindered Alaskans' ability to responsibly harvest timber, develop minerals, or build lower-cost energy projects. The comment period is open until September 19th. For nearly 50 years, the Thunder Valley Speedway in Willow has delivered a summer full of dirt racing and local fans and drivers. Now, as Charlie Fellows reports, it has been partially demolished during a property dispute.
At mile 75.5 of the Parks Highway in Willow, signs point passersby to the Thunder Valley Speedway. However, it's unclear whether any racing will take place there again. The track, formerly known as Capitol Speedway, was owned and operated by the Wallace family since its founding in 1978, before they sold it in 2022 to Jason and Phil Hutchins. Nancy Wallace claims payments stopped coming in July. That led to the Wallaces saying that they're filing for foreclosure. Nancy says Jason brought a dozer in on Thursday.
He's told us different things that he's going to do. He did say to other drivers that he was going to mow the place down at the end of the season.
The season ended on August 31st. Just 4 days later, the Wallaces say grandstands were torn down, concrete barriers were damaged, and that's what they say they can see from the edge of their neighboring property.
We don't know what they've taken because we're not allowed on that property.
Jason Hutchins didn't immediately respond to Alaska's News Source's request for comment, but he did post a lengthy statement to his Facebook on Friday. He claims the property hasn't been foreclosed on and accuses the Wallaces of doing things like sabotaging the operations and locking him out of the company's Facebook. However, the Wallaces say they hope to reclaim the property in a foreclosure auction in October and believe they can get the track back into racing shape by next season. Charlie Fellows, Alaska's News Source.
A trustee's notice of default and sale under deed of trust was filed with the state and dated August 1st of this year. Visiting Alaska was on his bucket list. It was a dream Kenny had since he was very young. Now a military veteran, he got to cross Alaska off of his bucket list. Adelmi Ruiz joins us now from the newsroom with more about Kenny's adventure.
Kristen, he is well known on social media, especially on TikTok, as Patriotic Kenny. He had the chance to finally visit Alaska just a few weeks ago. He did everything from dog sledding to making traditional Yupik delicacies, riding a helicopter over a glacier, horseback riding, and more. Kenny says he had such a great time, he can't choose a favorite moment.
Every moment I had up there was a moment that I'll never forget. I mean, I can't just pick one. I got to say every single thing I did up there.
Kenny is the face of an organization called Patriotic Kenny, which aims to provide veterans with assistance, including acquiring scooters. Kenny says it helps vets not be or feel so isolated.
There's so many out there that I'm sure have tried like me and can't get one. You know, it's the worst thing for a veteran to be isolated in the house. That's not good.
And about his trip, Kenny says this was a trip of a lifetime, and if he gets the chance to, he is definitely coming back to the last frontier. Kristen?
All right, thanks, Adelmi. Ghouls, goblins, witches, and more filled the streets of several Alaskan neighborhoods on Sunday in celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Trick or Treat in the Heat Memorial fundraiser. It started 20 years ago as an early Halloween celebration for a terminally ill boy diagnosed with leukemia to experience one last trick or treat. Ian Robbins' memory lives on now 2 decades later as the event serves as a fundraiser benefiting Hospice of Anchorage, Make-A-Wish, and the Anchorage Ronald McDonald House. Ian's father, Sean Robbins, reflected on how much the event has grown over the years.
It's mind-boggling, actually. We never really had any plans for this to become an event. It just happened organically. So very proud that, it's a lot of fun for the families participating and for the kids.
We heard from some participants and trick-or-treaters about their favorite part of this year's event.
The candy and the having fun with the friends and the sense of community. Big sense of community. Yep.
The music and seeing all the kids in their costumes.
Seeing the kids and seeing how much money they actually raise for the good cause.
I like actually dressing up and looking at all the other costumes and everything else out here also.
I just like trick-or-treating in general, but like not freezing.
Trick or treat!
10 neighborhoods from Anchorage to Eagle River, Palmer, and Wasilla participated in this year's event. Coming up on the Morning Edition, too many leftovers usually means a lot of issues, but the State Fair has found a productive solution to their leftover mess. We'll show you where all those giant award-winning veggies are now going.
Wet weather still with us this week across the state from southeast through the interior and the Aleutians. I'll have more on that, but first the sunrise. 7:10 in Anchorage, 6:13 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
It's a common question for all of us. What do we do with leftovers? For the State Fair, it's an even bigger question. But take a look at what the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center does with the veggies judged at the fair. The Alaska State Fair farmers and the nonprofit came together to share the wealth of the growing season with the animals at the center. An audience stood watch as the animals chowed down on some pumpkins, cabbage, carrots, and more, getting not only a nutritious meal, but also enrichment.
Goldfish on it. I'm just so thankful because it's such a fun day for all the animals. They get really into it. They don't get this kind of big enrichment that often. And so especially driving in with a tractor and letting the bears just kind of rip through the bucket, that's not something we allow the bears to do all the time.
The partnership has been going on for years now, making the feeding an annual event. And take a look at this. At least six bears had a field day Friday on Jay Bear. Ron Siebels captured this video while visiting the Fort Richardson National Cemetery. He said he sees bears there every summer and fall season, usually during the evening hours. But he said this time it's the first time he's seen that many at the same time and in such close proximity. And it looks like they're having a lot of fun there, Aaron. What do you think they're all doing? Having a party?
Who knows? A little picnic out in the cemetery. Not something you see every day, but hopefully they were enjoying some of that nicer weather that we did see towards the latter portion of last week and into the first part of the weekend. But we did see some rain spreading across South Central this weekend. Wet weather still with us across the state. We are seeing the return to some cooler conditions for Southeast, where those temperatures are expected to be about 10+ degrees cooler this week across a good portion of the Panhandle. And of course, we're still favoring some gusty winds in the Aleutians. You can see areas through the interior, western parts of the state and along the slope really favoring some of these wetter conditions. We've got 40s and 50s across the vast majority of the state this morning, with areas along the slope seeing some locations sitting near freezing. Utqiagvik this morning waking up at 32 degrees. There's our area of low pressure. This is what's going to bring us our best chance of rain in South Central as we welcome in our Tuesday. But of course, for today, most of what we're going to be dealing with in the term of rain and winds will be out towards the Aleutians. Now, winds are not too terribly strong this morning. We have seen some gusts up to 25 miles per hour in Anchorage, nearly 30 in Unalaska, and about 40-mile-per-hour wind gust out towards Adak. And we'll still favor areas of the Aleutians today where we could see winds up to about 60 to 65 miles per hour. So this area of low pressure will slowly move off towards the east throughout the day. So the central, eastern Aleutians, you'll begin to see that rain increasing in intensity throughout the afternoon and evening hours. And then as we head through the overnight hours, we'll begin to see areas out towards towards Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak tapping into that rainfall. And then that carries us into our Tuesday, where we're going to see a better chance for rain spreading across south central and then even out towards southeast. By Tuesday night into Wednesday, we're going to see the return to some widespread rain across the panhandle. So we expect to see the return to those cooler conditions. Across the state today, you can see 50s and 60s looking likely across south central. Into the interior, we may make a run near 60 degrees. I can't rule out some spotty to isolated showers for today, but still favoring a good portion of this week on the wetter side. Upper 50s and lower 60s as you head out towards the panhandle today. Now, areas out towards Ketchikan, Klawock, we could see those temperatures briefly making a run into the mid-60s. But, of course, that wetter weather staying with us for a good portion of the state, particularly for the southern coastline and then out towards the Aleutians through the rest of this week. So we're going to begin to watch this return to those wetter conditions. Now, here across south central, we'll hold on to some spotty to isolated showers for inland areas, the Susitna Valley, and then as you head out towards coastal locations from the Kenai as well as through Prince William Sound, we'll see that best chance for rain this morning into the afternoon hours. And again, across the state, favoring some sunnier conditions as you head out west, where we're going to see 50s, lower 50s expected from the northwest Arctic borough out towards the Seward Peninsula. Now, as far as what we're going to see here across South Central for the next 7 days, when it comes to that wet weather, we're going to see that increase in activity by your Tuesday, and then some scattered to periodic rain showers stay with us through the rest of this week. We'll see daily highs likely staying in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Will likely stay near the upper 50s and lower 60s for the time being. Into the weekend, still favoring at least some showers with some sunshine breaks making a return.
All right, thanks, Aaron. As winter approaches and our days get darker, hundreds of people came together over the weekend in hopes of preventing suicide by spreading awareness about resources and support. Justin Matson was out at the Out of Darkness Walk as the walk kicked off Suicide Prevention Month.
The white beads. If you have the loss of a child, please raise your beads.
Before the walk started, members of the community raised their beads. Each color comes with its own story.
I am a suicide survivor, so I wear the green bead, which stands for a personal struggle. I'm also a part of the member of the LGBTQ community, and I have lost friends and family to suicide.
Having friends that have made suicide attempts and having to call crisis hotlines on their behalf has been a really interesting position to be in, and feeling like you're at that final hour, final minute, wishing you could have done something different, or not knowing someone is struggling until it may be too late.
The walk is one of the biggest fundraisers for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. For them, it's all about getting people to the resources they need.
It is a public health issue in Alaska, and but we do believe it's preventable, and being able to talk about it and be able to let people know there are resources there and people to help, and that mental health truly is an important part, and everybody has somebody they know or a connection that could use mental health support.
But most importantly, they want you to know you aren't alone in your struggles.
I want people to know that there's always somebody in your life that will miss you. If you're struggling, please reach out. There's always someone who's willing to talk to you.
If you or someone you know is struggling, you can call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 any time of the day. Justin Matson, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically, and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.